Hello, this is Stephanie from Fork and Knife Teacher. You can also find me at Teachers Pay Teachers at FCS Fork and Knife. So I'm going to talk to you about foodborne illness for food handlers. So where I live and the program I teach, we have the option of doing like a food handler certification for our students, which I find is super practical and awesome. It really helps my students kind of get that first job, because a lot of mine are like the grade 10 range. So like 15, maybe 16, kind of looking out there to get that first job. And having this certification, they can walk into like, a McDonald's or a Wendy's or even a non-chain food establishment and say, hey, I've done this. I kind of have an idea on like how to be around food and what to do. That person hiring them says, oh my gosh, like half my training is almost done. And I'm like, yes, it is. So here we go. This is one of the things that I use for helping my students learn that material for their food handlers certification. Is what we call it. Okay, so food and safety in the kitchen, foodborne illness. So super important. People need to know how to not transmit illness to other people to create food poisoning. So start with symptoms of like what some food poisoning looks like, kind of a breakdown of how you can identify if you have food poisoning, and like what it is. It's like food, I like to say food that's been messed with. So the big word is adulterated foods, right? So it's food that has become not good for humans to eat. Could be fine for raccoons to eat, but not good for humans to eat. Okay, so how it happens. Often the amount of the bad stuff you eat kind of correlates to how sick you get, how much of it you put into your system. And of course, the people who are most susceptible are children and the elderly and those with like immunocompromised situations, right? So bacteria, leading cause of foodborne illness. And this talks about dangerous bacteria and then some of the language around dangerous bacteria, and kind of how to talk about it in a more kind of scientific, terms like pathogenic. But there's also different types of contamination food can have. So this starts in on talking about those different types of contamination, right? A chemical contamination, some examples of what that might be, and how that could happen, whether you're working physical contamination, some pictures and some images, what that is, and then how that could happen, right? How those physical things can get in the food. And then there's some discussion here about allergies and allergic reaction and what that might look like in somebody who's dining at your restaurant, and then communicating allergies if you have them. If someone's come up to you and said, hey, I do have these allergies, right? And then also microorganisms called pathogens. So what those are and how they can be kind of transmitted. And then talking about the 6 main types of the microorganisms. And then going into talking about each of them individually. So viruses, parasites, protozoa, yeasts, right? And they're not all bad, but some of the yeasts are bad. Molds, same thing. And then bacteria and bacteria contamination. And then some examples of what, good bacteria is, and then like bad bacteria and some of the big names for it, right? I love that poop shot. It's great. Good poop emoji for a classroom. Staphylococcus, right? All the stuff that's, I love talking about this, that there's this staphylococcus bacteria that's just in your nose and your throat and on your skin. And that's why you can't like be touching your face or picking your nose or whatever, and then going and serving food, because you could be carrying this bacteria. You could be fine, right? There's stuff that like is okay in your body and is not going to work in someone else's body. So that is, I think sometimes it helps, that imagery, to help kids like get it. Okay, that's not good. Okay. And so, yeah, we're talking about more bacteria here. Lots of good information about bacteria. I know it's a big PowerPoint. And then I go into like pH values and oxygen and how all that affects it. All right, I'm running out of time. Stephanie from Fork and Knife Teacher. See you around.